So I was strolling through a college campus the other day, a college that I've taken courses at before, and let's face it, like a lot of colleges and universities today, there's a lot of propaganda. So that day, I decided to give a call to the geography chair, the head of the department. As you can see, this poster is advertising a second year geography course using a satellite, some image of a satellite. And I thought, you know what, these guys are educated. They know all about geography. They can explain this to me somehow and tell me, this is what it is, this is what it's not, this is how it relates to our courses. So the chair of the geography department was there at the time at the campus, and he said, "Come on up. Here's my office." I went with my microphone on, and I recorded the exchange. So this was not planned. Like I said, it was just kind of impromptu. I felt like I had to do something about this instead of just complaining. And so the sound quality is not the greatest. But let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about his responses. I'm gonna do a follow-up vid, my little analysis of what I think, and also talking a little bit more about the campus. As you can see, it's like a brainwashing zone. It wasn't like that like 20 years ago. It was way different. So it's changed, and it's going to change even more. The demographics are changing and whatnot. So have a listen. Let me know what you think. Hey, Mr. Miller.
Hi.
So I saw the poster on the wall there, and just wondering what does that course entail?
So Geography 20 is
So that particular image you took, what is that? Is that some sort of like just a artist rendering of like what kind of stuff you can apply in
yeah,
real life?
that's totally a
Is that CGI or something?
an image.
Okay.
I don't know if it's CGI.
So it's an actual photographic, because it's a satellite over some sort of land. Looks like.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
So that's probably a real picture. That might actually be a real satellite photo.
So would you have?
So GIS is often, so you often will use satellite data.
Okay.
You, for example, for say a business student, you could take that course, and we think you'd have a very strong leg up on a lot of other students if you were able to map, marketing areas or something like that.
Very interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So if this kind of stuff appeals to you, it is hugely flexible and valuable knowledge.
Okay.
Particularly in the world we're now in and ever more. What happens is these satellites create data sets, which means you've got to say a satellite that goes around the world and it maps elevation.
So have you seen any of these satellites built, like with your own eyes?
The
have
actual
you seen,
satellites?
Yeah.
No.
Where do they fabricate these? Where do they build these?
Well, the world of satellites used to be entirely people like NASA, so it was
Right, so it's
super
all
high security. But
I can't imagine this thing flying around 17,000 miles per hour around the Earth and taking imagery and stuff. It's mind bending. Why is there no course on just satellites themselves?
That would be for a different department.
Awesome. Have you ever seen them dock?
There's fantastic footage of NASA deploying satellites.
Is that right?
Canada.
CGI or actual footage?
Oh, actual footage.
So have you seen ISS shuttle like dockings and stuff like that happening? Or you see them in the space shuttle?
I've never seen a docking.
Dockings be cool, right?
But back in the days when it was new and super sexy, they filmed everything.
I don't.
You look up Canadarm launched satellite and some of those massive.
Yeah, they'll show them in orbit.
They show it
right?
coming out of the. They have the. Are you doubting?
We're gonna go 17,000 miles per hour, and we're gonna dock some other. You know how hard it is to fuel jets in air, moving around.
So how do you think we get all these satellite images?
That's my question to you. Where did that come from? What is that?
You don't think they're up there?
Find the source of that photo, and see what it says. Find the stuff up for advertising like that, and say, oh, I don't know what it is. What is that? What is that particular photo?
That is a stock image.
Right. So who took that picture?
I have no idea.
Is Eagle? That's cartoons right there.
So you don't think there's satellites as big?
There are. When's the last time you saw a satellite fall onto the ground?
Well, I see satellites every night.
You see satellites? How do you know they're satellites?
They're flying around the sky in
high altitude drones, maybe.
I'll tell you, the space shuttle will be visible in Vancouver at these hours on this day, and no drone could travel as fast as that thing is going because it would be beyond the speed of sound.
Think about it for a second. They're 400 miles up, right? Apparently 400 miles up.
Oh no, they range from 300 to 20,000, 100,000.
300 miles.
Geostationary.
Yeah, just move it closer to the Earth, make it smaller, They're the identical,
You don't think
identical
Elon Musk
optics.
has his,
Absolutely, there's no car up there. There's
you
no
don't think
car.
there's a test masterful?
If you look on the donations, one of the big donors, not the small donors, but the big donors, is like the most worshipful. Sorry, the lodge, which is the Freemason lodge. Like, what do they do?
Masons?
Yeah, they were stoneworkers back in 300-400 years ago, but now they don't work with stone
No,
anymore.
there's civic society,
Yeah.
like the Rotary Club.
Why would they have such an interest in a institution like this?
Oh, because people who graduate from here
Right.
go and work in the businesses. That
Look,
it is.
well, they do exist, but they're taking $52 million a day from taxpayers. It's a whole lot of money to pay off subcontractors and make rockets and stuff.
So if they're making rockets, why aren't there any satellites in space? If they're making rockets, are they not launching rockets?
They're launching them, but where are they going? Have you ever seen a launch? Do they go straight up, and then into the ocean? They've always put a camera on the boosters.
So you don't
they?
think it's possible to get into space?
I don't think there is space. I don't think that is an actual model. I think that Copernican model does not. It doesn't check out. That model that you see right there. I don't think that makes any sense.
Balloon.
Yeah, it's a globe. It's an oblate sphere. I don't think that's.
You're a
how
flat
this-
earther.
There's no curvature to this Earth. I'm telling you right now. Have you taken flat?
So have you ever seen a picture of the edge of the Earth then?
I haven't
Have
got.
you ever been to the edge of the
I
Earth?
haven't got that far out. I've only
Have you
been.
ever been? Have you seen anyone? Do you
Yeah.
believe photographs exist?
I do, but
So have you seen anyone go to the edge of the Earth?
where would be the edge though? If we were to
If
guess,
the Earth were not an orb,
Right.
walk in a straight line. and
could it be an
point to
infinite
the
plane?
edge. An infinite plane?
Could it be?
No, it's not.
Have you seen the United Nations map by any chance? The United Nations logo,
Do you?
the azimuthal map. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Sure, yeah.
When they kind of just like make it into a disk. The outer edge, they got the wreath or whatever. The outer edge.
That's called a projection.
It's a projection.
That's how you take
that's a
a
projection.
three-dimensional
Absolutely.
surface
So that
and
was-
you turn it into a two-dimensional.
They used that to circumnavigate this Earth back before Mr. Copernicus, the Catholic cleric, said it's actually
How
round.
can you circumnavigate a non-round Earth?
East pole is in the center of the dish. You can go east all the way, and you're still going in a
Well,
circle.
I'll tell you what.
right?
Why don't you take physical geography and go at it as the perspective of a scientist rather than
Right.
whatever it is you're reading?
Can you measure the curvature of the Earth, like using lasers and stuff like that?
Sure, you can.
Has it been done?
Yes.
So if I shot a laser 5 miles over the ocean, we're going to see a difference where I shoot it level starting and ending.
That's-
Bedford Levels experiment over 100 years ago in Britain, they proved with telescopes and flags on boats that it does not curve.
The burden falls on you to show me that this is something other than an orb.
I know that 70% of this Earth is water. Water always finds its level. The way we measure in
You believe in
construction,
gravity?
gravity only exists if you have a circle that's spinning at 1,037 miles per hour.
No, gravity exists regardless of motion.
No, we have density. If I drop my phone here, it's going to fall because it's denser than the air, right? And if a helium balloon, if I just let it go, it's going to go up because
No.
helium's not as dense as air.
It's got nothing to do with density.
It's density.
No, it's proven on the moon that if you drop a hammer and a feather at the same time, they land at the ground at the same time because
Okay.
the only thing that causes
Research it. That's all I'm asking. Research it. We were socially programmed to believe this. Is what I saw this in the first grade of elementary school. Like how gravity is a magic word. If I was to tell you what is gravity, so I ask you.
No one knows.
No one knows what it
Entirely
is. It's like the Earth is flat. We don't need gravity. All of a sudden, that's out the window. Because how do you hold trillions of gallons of water to conform to a sphere,
Wait,
right?
hold on. If the Earth is flat,
Yeah,
we don't need gravity.
we don't need gravity.
So you're saying there isn't gravity?
Up is up, down is down, side is side, and that's it. You have your directional
What is
kind of
down?
thing. So down right here like this, if I take a plumb bob and I just kind of hold it like this, it's down, right?
That's right.
So somebody in India is holding the same thing. We're parallel to each other, rather than he's on a relatively
You don't
different.
think that, so the antipode of right here is,
Right.
which is the opposite point on the Earth,
Right.
is somewhere off the coast of Madagascar. So you think if I'm holding a pendulum here, a plumb bob
Plumb
here,
bob, yeah.
and they're holding a plumb bob there, that those two plumb bobs are beside each other,
Yeah.
not because there's no center to the
So-called, it's plumb, level, straight, and square. What is plumb? Plumb is up and down. Level we know from a spirit level, which has water in it. It's got a split bubble in it, right?
Sure.
That's the level.
Why do you believe that?
Straight is the string that we pull tight.
Do you believe what they teach you in carpentry?
Absolutely. You know why we
Why do you
believe it?
believe
Because when we
that?
build a house, we can test it out optically. We can test it out with lasers. We can test it out with light. We can test it out with squares. Is this very...
So where do you get your sources?
My sources? I told you, my books that I read that are not in your libraries. That Zetetic science means science from first principles. Rather than coming up with an assumption and trying to prove that assumption, it's saying, look, this is what we have. We know that water always finds its level. Prove otherwise. conform water
Why
to...
doesn't the water all fall off the edge of the Earth then, if the Earth isn't round?
We haven't even got to the edge discussion yet because we haven't found the curvature yet. We have to find the curvature to prove the Earth is round.
No, you're proving...
Right?
You're trying to... You saying there's no curvature to this?
There's no curvature to this Earth. If you
There's
could
no curvature.
look it up. Say 8 inches per mile squared. That's the curvature, right? So every mile you go squared. So say 2 miles is going to be 4 times by 8. That's 32 inches drop off. So over 100.
And you don't believe that?
If you're an engineer, for example, in China, they did build a bridge like 150 miles or something. If you ask the engineers, the architects, did you take in consideration the curvature of the Earth?
You don't have to.
Of course you don't have to. What if I took a string and pulled it straight across? It's going to be straight the whole 150 miles. You know why? Because there's no curvature. Or else it'd be tangential.
So what do you do with all of those images of Earth?
You look at them, you scrutinize them, you say, let's look at NASA's 2014 picture of Earth and let's compare it with 2018. Is it the same? No, well, America looks a little bit bigger here. Have you done that? No. But if you scrutinize all their pictures that they show you...
What's your implication?
CGI. It's all CGI.
But it existed before, like the original picture of the Earth was
It's from when?
Pre-1978.
The blue marble?
Yeah.
The guy went up to the moon. Girls take more selfies in the bathroom than he took pictures of the Earth.
Sure.
And it was just like that little kind of half
But
Earth.
do you think he was in space?
I don't think so. There was pointing to him.
Is this all like in a studio somewhere? Just think that, what are they doing? They all out there. You think that all these people are working for this and not one person has come and said, it's all total shit.
It's compartmentalized. Like you work for who put that picture on there, for example, right? So if you're a subcontractor building rocket engines, you don't know where they're going. Yes, you're building them. You're the scientist behind it. It's not like you know exactly.
What would they do with all this?
Well, for example, if you take a look...
What is the point of lying to us all?
Well, if you take a look at this, pretty much gone in every direction. There's no new land. Just chill out. You don't need to explore. Stay where you are on the plantation. Obey. Pay your taxes. Stay here.
The question is, do you want to take GIs?
Do I want to take it? This is a college.
This is not going to get you to the bottom of the question you're asking.
What's going to get me to the bottom of this?
I have no idea.
How do TV satellites work? Why do they all point south? If you look at any TV satellite, why do they all point south?
Well, they all point south here. If you go to the south
right here.
hemisphere, they're all pointing.
They're pointing at towers. They're pointing at basically cell towers. They're not pointing at anything in the sky because
Is it possible for human beings to build a machine that would take them out of Earth's whatever you might consider it to be?
I think they would film the crap out of it because it's something monumental, right?
I'm asking you, is it possible to build a rocket to go into... Do you think space exists?
I have no evidence to suggest that space exists. I have none. Because when somebody does something big time, I mean that's a whole different once you smash this model, you're into a whole different game, right?
What is the sun?
I couldn't tell you what the sun is, but I could tell you that it's not 93 million miles away and it's not 1 million miles in diameter. I could tell you that.
Why don't you believe him on that?
We could do the same experiment to prove that your desk is a curve too, because the way he did it, he took certain variables like the distance for the sun from the Earth, the size of the sun, and assumed those things, and then said, look, the shadows are different.
What is the sun if it's not what it is?
It could be a lot closer. It could be a lot closer and smaller.
Why would you want or need it to be a lot closer?
Well, crepuscular rays are if you take like a lamp and it's going to have rays coming out like this rather than parallel rays coming from 93 million miles away. So when we have a sunrise or sunset, it's always weak. We can kind of stare at the sun because it's so weak, right? How would
Because it's passing through atmosphere.
Yeah, how much atmosphere though? How much atmosphere is going to be? 93 million miles.
Exactly what the atmosphere.
Yeah, but 93 million miles worth of sunshine is going to be that affected by 400 miles worth of 400 miles.
Yes.
It dims right out.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Could
it's
be.
mostly because of the angle.
Could be.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Geography it's really simple. It's the angle of the rays are striking the surface of the Earth, which affects the intensities of those rays and therefore the temperatures at the surface of the Earth.
It's entirely
and also the amount of light, which is why the shadows.
It's entirely possible. I can't say for sure any other model because this is what I've been fed for 30 years or plus, right? So I couldn't tell you about anything else that I know. All I know is this. That's it.
But no, you don't know that.
I know more of this than you do. What's the tilt on the axis? Tell me.
No, but I'm not.
The numbers.
Did you read what someone else did, or did you do the research?
NASA tells me the information about the heliocentric model, and I know that stuff.
Argument here is who we believe.
Who do we believe? Right. So if I was to go with NASA, which you believe, NASA.
NASA's not the source I use for believing,
Right,
not
right.
believing stuff.
Aside from NASA, like who else would there be? Like this Russian space?
Every astronomer that's ever lived,
Right.
astronomers today, and they're,
Right.
this is why Galileo.
Who feeds them the information though? Like who gives them the satellite imagery? Who gives them all the telescope imagery?
There's many different companies, governments,
The Hubble, right?
authorities who, but we have telescopes.
Where are the
we have
telescopes?
Physics. What do you mean, where are the telescopes?
Like the ones,
You don't believe telescopes?
the ones on the Earth, yes, we have those, but the ones outside of the
You don't think
atmosphere,
Hubble exists?
it's flying around taking pictures of itself. Like there's pictures of Hubble that we have, and it's like
So what do you think of those, like, those fantastic photographs of deep space? You don't
all
believe those?
CGI, 100%. I used to read those books when I was a kid in the library. It's like this moon has methane on it. It's like artist rendition.
So,
It's like
question.
cool. Yeah.
Do you actually want to take GIS?
I would
Or
take.
did you want to come here
No, I
and
honestly,
argue with a geographer?
I
about
honestly
flat
was.
Earth
I honestly thought that was something that's real. I didn't think if that was some sort of thing I've never seen before, and it could prove that hey, you know what, all that stuff I've heard is actually bullshit. This is true. Absolutely. Why not? Because I've never seen something like that in my life. I've never seen any kind of imagery which is we're chasing a satellite guide live 24 hours
But
and we're.
you haven't seen most of the things you believe in.
I've seen
I think
it.
there's all manner of things that we believe based
Absolutely.
on what we've read or been told.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure why you're choosing to.
I think it's just
reject
another
the
religion.
knowledge That seems
It's an ideology.
patently obvious.
It's not obvious at all. It's a religion. Just like for some people, Islam is patently obvious that it's true. For example.
So, do you have a religious?
No, I don't.
You have religion at all of any kind?
Not at all.
You would consider yourself atheist?
No, not atheist. I would consider myself like a pan-atheistic or something like that. So I don't believe in any religion. But if you talk
What do you believe?
you talk to religious people, some of them are dead set on this is the way it is.
Oh,
And
That's kind of the nature of religion.
I'm not saying that I'm not. I wouldn't even say 100% that that's not the way it is. But I would say my perception, what I've read, and what I've I've actually. If I ask 90% of people I bump into, have you ever done these particular tests to see about water and stuff like that? They'll say no, they haven't. We just kind
That's right.
of bow to that, right? That's it.
Because at a practical level, I simply don't have the time, the ability, the tools, the funding, the interest to test every piece of knowledge information that I encounter. The majority of us are utterly dependent upon the knowledge of other
100%.
people
100%. I agree.
for what it is that forms their knowledge. Now, having said this, whether you believe the Earth is round or anything like that
Right.
really isn't all that meaningful in terms of how it affects your life or mine.
For you, but other people, everybody has a different level of curiosity and that kind of thing, right? I mean, one thing leads to another. If you discover one thing,
So what happens if someone? So what would be the evidence to teach you to say to you, okay, the Earth is round?
number one is curvature. Like I would have to see like the laser test and strength. Like if you could just grab a, I don't know.
Hey, Daryl. Hey, quick question. Shapes the Earth. What's that? What's the shape of the Earth?
What's the shape of the Earth?
And your belief?
Roundish.
Right on, there
That
you
is
go.
the right answer. Roundish.
Roundish. So what would you say the radius of the Earth is?
Radius?
Ish.
Well, given, I have no idea.
Okay.
It's half the diameter.
Right. Do
Ish.
you know like a ballpark? Some ish.
At distance, I don't know.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
circumference is 40,000 kilometers.
2 pi r. Is that what the circumference is? Is that how it goes?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Circumference
Yeah, you might be
2 pi
right.
r. Pi? Or is it 2 pi r squared?
No, it'd be 2 pi r. I think.
Don't ask me.
2 pi r, yeah.
Some pi d basically.
I'm an urban geographer.
Pi d. Yeah. Yeah.
He prefers cake.
Well, I'm not going to take any more of your time, Mr. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, sir.